Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back to my channel. We cover all sorts of fun reading stuff here, and today I'm going to be going through my Goodreads TBR and just absolutely purging it out. So let's get right into it. So I have here my TBR that I have been slowly accumulating over about the past year or so whenever I started using Goodreads. And yes, I know there are so many other services out there that are not Goodreads, that are better and more user-friendly than Goodreads is. But I choose to use this website. It is the easiest for me to use at least, and I have it all set up for my needs, and I don't feel like learning anything else. So don't come at me and tell me there's other things out there. I just like this one the way it is. So I have about 160 books right now on my TBR, and that is just an amalgamation of all the different genres that I like. So we're going to go through and figure out what I want to read, what I don't want to read, what I'm never going to get to. I kind of narrow it down a little bit. I feel like 160 actually isn't that bad. I feel like I know people who have 160 actual books like in their home that they haven't read, let alone just like in a database somewhere. But I'm pretty picky about the books I want to read and what I like to read. So I feel like it's a pretty good shot that if it makes it onto my TBR list, I'm going to get to it at some point. So let's just start going through this and talk about everything that's on here and if I'm going to get to these or not. So I think that if I push batch edit on Goodreads, I can select all of these books that I don't want. And I think it should take it off of all of my different shelves I have over here. Because not only do I have just a TBR list, but I also have a whole bunch of different shelves I've created. I've separated these books into their own separate subcategories. So I have books that I need to buy the physical version of because I couldn't get it from one of the libraries in my area, or I just want to have the physical version of it. I have books that are separated based off of the season that they're in. I have fiction, nonfiction. I started separating books that I found that were on Spotify because I have Spotify audiobook listening hours. And I realized that basically every audiobook that I can get through the library is also on Spotify for me, so I kind of stopped making that list. So I might actually just go and leave that one. I don't know. So I have a whole bunch of shelves. I don't use all of them, but it's just I mostly like to separate them out into fiction, nonfiction, fantasy. I have other like nonfiction books that are like not political books, just like nonfiction books in general I want to read. So enough of that. Let's just start going through these. So let's see. Openly Straight is a book that was Openly Straight and A Little Bit Country. Those were both books that were recommended to me by a friend very recently. I'm definitely going to keep those on there. All Systems Red was a book that I saw in a bookstore that I thought I would really like. And by the way, if you see any books on here and any books that I take off of my list that you're like, you need to read these, are actually really good, or if you see any books that are on my TBR that you've read that you really liked, let me know in the comments down below. And if you know of any books that I might like based on the books that you see here, also let me know that too. I'm always open for suggestions. So let's see, All Systems Red, so I'm keeping all those. Red Rising was a brand new book. I guess it's not like brand new, it came out a while ago, but I do want to read that. A Deal of a Lifetime I have on here by Frederick Bachman. I just recently read Beartown, which I talk about in my 2025 tier list. So you can go and watch that video if you want to hear my full thoughts on that. But I think I'll give this one a shot too at some point because I think it's kind of a shorter novella. The Will of the Many is one of my 6 in 2026, which I'll be doing a video on my reading journal and my like goals for 2026 at some point. But I definitely want to read that. Let's see. Best Offer Wins is a brand new book that came out. I definitely want to read that at some point. Goodbye to Boyhood. I've been seeing this book really all over TikTok for some reason, so I think I definitely want to read this at some point. It looks like an interesting book. Fahrenheit 451 is one of my 6 in 26. Let's see, The Survivor Wants to Die at the End. That's a sequel to They Both Die at the End, which I read in 2025. Let's see, 1929, that's like a nonfiction book. Town and Country looks like a really fun I'm not sure if it's a what kind of a romance book or what exactly it is about, but it definitely looked good. I wanted to give it a shot. Go Luck Yourself is the sequel to actually one of my favorite books from 2025, so I'll definitely read that one. A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This is kind of our first one that I feel like might be a little bit in there. I want to save it on here because I'd like to read an Ashley Poston book because I've heard so many good things about her, but straight romances are such a hit or miss for me, I fear. And I'm willing to give this one a shot just to see if it's any good or not, see if her writing is good, but I'm considering taking off. Last Chance Library, definitely want to read. Welcome to the Hainam Dong Bookshop, I think is how it's pronounced. I definitely want to read that. We Free Men. Let's be honest, folks. I'm not going to read this book. This is going off. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I definitely like to read this. How to Age Disgracefully looks like a fun book. Other Birds. I forget what Other Birds was about, but I think I read the description. I liked. I mean, I read the description of all these. I thought I would like it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that one. Constitution of Liberty by Frederick Hayek. Definitely want to read this at some point. Game Changer is the first book in like the whole like Heated Rivalry series, so I'm definitely going to have to read this one. This one's staying. A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This was a kind of fall book that was recommended to me last year. Definitely want to read that. Artificial Wisdom. I saw this in a bookstore. I thought it looked really good. It's kind of like a weird kind of, I think it's like kind of sci-fi-ish. Your Final Moments. I'm going to keep it. Horror Store. I definitely want to read this one. I think this book is like, it's like a horror novel that takes place in like an IKEA, I think. It just looks really fun. The Truth is in the Detours. What is this book about? No, I'm never going to read this. I read the description. I'm not going to read this book. Good Grief. Let me read the description for this book. Okay, I'm never going to read this book either. Oh yeah, I definitely want to read Echoes of Rebellion: The Spark. This is like second Civil War breaks out in America in 2025. This one looked really interesting to me. I feel like it's gotten like very few reviews. Like I feel like 5 ratings. I don't even know how I found out about this book, but I looked interesting. I want to give it a shot. So this one, I'm definitely going to get to it. Okay, Brave New World, 6 and 26, definitely get into it. The Silent Coup was like another like political thriller, I think. I definitely want to get to this. Let's see here. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Same thing with Emily Henry and Ashley Poston. I want to read an Emily Henry book and just see how she is as a writer. So I'm going to leave that one on there. I want to read this one. This is definitely in the same vein as like Heated Rivalry. Okay, all of these ones can stay. Financial and Economic Literacy. This was like a book that I forget even where I saw this book at, but it felt like a textbook that I like want to read. Like I think it kind of just talks about some basic things people should know. This book bridges the gap between basic money guides and the dense academic text, offering clear database insights that anyone can understand, drawing on over a decade of teaching economics, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like this just looked like an interesting book that I wanted to read just to get more information on financial and economic, just to get more financial and economic literacy, honestly. Exactly what the title says. I'm Looking for a Man in Finance. I'm never going to read this book. My Oxford Year. I think I'm going to watch the movie for My Oxford Year because I know there's like a movie or a TV show or something on Netflix that's about this. So I think I'm just going to watch that. I'm going to watch the movie, and if it's good, then I'll read the book. Okay, Top Secret. I definitely want to read. Love, Hate, and Clickbait. I think this was like a cute little gay romance book. Yes, Cutthroat Political Consultant. Working on the governor of California's presidential campaign. If only he didn't have to deal with Clay Parker, the infuriatingly smug data analyst. Yes, this will be a book that I will read. This looks really fun. I know I keep calling them gay romances, and probably they would prefer me to call them MLM romances, but I'm calling them gay romances. I don't care. It's my YouTube channel. I'm going to call it what I want. Okay. That I'm going to read. Overruled is a book by Neil Gorsuch, who's a Supreme Court justice. I really wanted to read it. I thought it would be interesting. Okay, Small Things Like These, definitely reading that. Guncle, which is like about like the gay uncle, I think. This just looked like a really fun book. Okay, Good Spirits. Good Spirits I need to change the category of because I read some of this book in 2025 and did not like it. Okay, Battle of the Bookstores. Battle of the Bookstores, you know, straight romances are very hit or miss for me. But this book, I just felt like sounded so cute and adorable that I wanted to give it a shot. So I'm going to keep it. Dear New York, I'm never going to read this book. See you at the Finish Line, that can stay. This book made me think of you. This sounded interesting to me enough that I'm going to keep it. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it very much. I feel like it's going to be like a 3-star read for me, but I liked it. Intercepted by You looked fun. Confronting the Presidents. This is a book by Bill O'Reilly where I think he talks about every single one of the U.S. presidents, and I'm a big history fan, so definitely going to read this one. Thrill Ride is a romance that I think takes place in an amusement park, which, if you know me, I love amusement parks, so I think I can put up with that book just for that aspect. Okay, Father Material. Father Material can stay because I think I have Husband Material on this as well. Do I have Husband Material on here? Because if Husband Material is on here, I can take out Father Material. I don't need to have both of them on here because I haven't read the second one yet. Here it is, Husband Material. I have it on here. It was just way far down. Okay, Father Material we can take off because I'm not going to read Father Material until I've read Husband Material, and I'm going to remember to add it after I read it because I'm going to know there's a third one, right? And I have it written down. That's a series. Just the Villain, that can stay. That's the second book in the series. All right. These Harry Potter books can go off. I know to read Harry Potter. I have these on here as a reminder to myself to read these in 2026 because of the audiobooks that are coming out. I can take these off. Return of the King can stay. Rock, Paper, Scissors, I'm kind of up in the air about. It seemed like kind of a thriller, kind of horror book that I could get into. I'm going to keep it. Love Naturally, I'm never going to read this book. Looking for Group, sounded good. All right, here's Husband Material. 7-Year Slip. Someone needs to tell me if I'm going to spend my time reading an Ashley Poston book, should I read the 7-Year Slip or should I read a novel love story? I feel like I've heard people say to read the 7-Year Slip more than a novel love story. So I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take off a novel love story and leave on the 7-Year Slip. And if I was wrong for that decision, let me know. If there is an Ashley Poston book or an Emily Henry book that I should read as the first time I'm reading this author, tell me which one it should be. Because I've heard a lot that I should read the 7-Year Slip. But I'm not convinced I'm going to like any of them. So I want to read whatever one's the best one if I'm going to spend my time reading one of these books. Okay. The Husbands is a straight romance book that just seemed really weird. My understanding is that the way this book is like this girl comes home one day to some man just in her house who's her husband. And, like, every day he goes up in the attic and like a different man pops out. It just seemed like such a weird book and an interesting concept. I'm like, I'm going to give this book a shot. We'll see how it is. Okay, Every Day is Christmas. This sounds like a fun little Christmassy book. I think it's kind of short. Let's look at it. How long is it? Okay, I'm not going to read this book. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. This book just sounded like so much fun. I'm going to read this one. Okay, Jay's Gay Agenda can stay. I'll give that one a shot. Never Been Kissed. That one can stay. Fake Dates and Mooncakes. This seemed like a cute book, but I'm not like a fake dating trope kind of guy. It just doesn't really do anything for me. I'm going to leave it and I'll come back to it. Date Me Bryson Keller looked interesting. Only Most Devastated. What was this book about? I'm reading this book. This one sounds fun. Okay. Autobiography, that can stay. Julie Chan is Dead. This also, another really odd. I'm a fan of kind of oddball books that are not like oddball, like they're just kind of weird, not like they're like murderers or like thrillers or anything. Like books like Julie Chan is Dead and Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, like stuff like that. It's just kind of like an oddball book for me. So, okay, that can stay. Bad Boys, What Does a Lawyer Do? Outrageous Stories from a Criminal Defense Lawyer Who's Seen It All. This book just sounded like so much fun. Like, I think this is a book written by an attorney who has obviously represented a whole bunch of criminals. So I think it's a book about different criminals you represent. Okay. Sounds like love. I'm not going to read this book. I have another Ashley Poston book. This one can go. Okay, The Rules of Falling for You. I'm never going to read this book. Lessons in Chemistry is a TV show. I'm going to watch the TV show. I'm not going to read this book. Okay. People We Meet on Vacation. By Emily Henry. Yet another Emily Henry book. I know the movie just came out on Netflix. I think that I'm going to read... Or not. I think I'm going to watch the movie first, and then I'll read the book if I really like the movie. So I'm going to take this off. Hello, folks. Editing Nathan here. So I watched People Meet on Vacation on Netflix just a day or two ago as I'm editing this video, and I liked the movie, not enough to go and read the book. So would recommend you go and watch the movie. The movie was very cute. I liked all the actors and stuff, and it was a very fun rom-com to watch. However, if you don't love the movie, I think you can probably skip the book. So that's all. Now, back to the video. On Tyranny, 12 Lessons from the 20th Century. This is a short little book I saw in a bookstore. This is staying. This sounded interesting to me. Dating and Dragons. This can go. When the World Tips Over. What was this about? Yeah, this seemed interesting. The cover really drew me to this, and it just seemed interesting. It's a long book, 519 pages. Long book, but we'll see. This book will probably be something audiobook, honestly. Run Away With Me seemed fun. Falling Into Pieces by Ashley Anderson. What was this book about? Nothing against the book. I'm not going to read it. A Beginner's Guide to Forever. What was this about? See, I've added these books so long ago. I need a refresher. Yeah, I'm not going to read this book. The cover looked cute. I'm not going to read it. Okay, Accomplice to the Villain. I have the second one on here. This is the third book. I can take this off. The Truth is in the Detours. What is this about? Okay, I'm not going to read this book. Okay, Good Grief. I feel like I already had this on here. I feel like this got on here twice somehow. Okay, I'm taking that off. I know how this ends. Let's see. Okay, I read the description. I'm not going to read. I know how this ends. I will never know how this ends because I'm not going to read it. Okay, if this is out, that can stay. All That's Left in the World, that can stay. Conventionally Yours, that can stay. Borrowing My Bestie's Brothers. I'm not going to read this book. Taboo for You, I'll read. The Catch, I'm not going to read this book. A Core of Thorns and Roses, not going to read this book. Hope This Finds You Well. Yeah, I am going to read that book. That seemed really fun. Okay, Apparent Revolution, I can stay. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue definitely will stay. This book sounded so interesting to me. So these can be taken off. Bad Blood, Secret Lies in Silicon Valley. These are both about Elizabeth Holmes. I'm going to take these off. I watched the documentaries. I don't need to be on here. Steve Jobs. I'd like that stay on there. I would like to read this. This book about Hitler. I will definitely be reading this book at some point. This specific biography was recommended to me by someone, so I'd like to give it a shot. I'm really love learning more about World War II history. Like, for some reason, I feel like everyone who is into history has like a part of history that is really, really interesting to them. For me, World War II is really interesting to me. Just everything that happened around that time is just really fascinating to me. So I love watching World War II documentaries. I love watching stuff like on what Winston Churchill was doing, what FDR was up to at the time, all that. Like how everything came to be. So that can stay. All right, this Alexander Hamilton biography, this can stay. This was the one that the play was based off of. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This book I've heard so many good things about. I just fear that I'm not going to get to it. I don't think I'm ever going to read this book. There's so many other books I'd rather read. I just don't think I'm going to get to it. The Survivor Wants to Die at the End. This is the second book. I have the physical book of this, so this has to stay on here because all the books I have physical ones of in my library, I have to keep them on here to keep track of everything. More Happy Than Not. I love Adam Silvera, so I really want to read this book. Happy Cities is another one I have on my physical TBR. This is just kind of a nonfiction book about, it says, transforming our lives through urban design. So this book seemed really good to me. The Magicians. I'm not going to read this book. I'm just not going to. I'm not going to get to it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I have to be like really motivated to get into a fantasy series, and if I need to read it, you guys let me know. Tell me if it's worth my time. Only my worst enemy. What is this one about? Like, I just watched a movie called Election with Reese Witherspoon and Matthew Broderick in it. I feel like this book is going to be very similar to that. So that can stay. Perks of Being a Wallflower, that can be taken off. I've seen the movie. I'm not going to read the book. Blindsided, I would give that one a shot. Midnight Library, I'm really excited about. A Monetary and Fiscal History of the United States, 1961 to 2021. Wow, riveting book. I know, right? Sounds like it would put you to sleep, but I really want to read it. The Giver. I'm like 50-50 in The Giver because I really liked the movie, and I know that the book has a lot more to it. So I think I'm going to leave The Giver on here. Even though I have seen the movie already, I don't really remember it that well. Wedding People definitely can stay. Definitely want to read this book. Liquid, a Love Story sounded so kind of oddball interest to me. Most Wonderful sounded interesting. Pairing. This is a book by Casey McQuinton, who I think wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, if I'm not mistaken. This sounded very interesting. It sounded weird, and I kind of dig it. So I liked Red, White, and Royal Blue a lot, so I'd be willing to give her another shot with another book. All right. The Impossible Life also seemed really good. Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I'm not going to read this book. I'd watch the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I'd like to watch the movie instead. Nine Perfect Strangers. Once again, watch the TV show. Didn't like it all that much. I'm not going to read the book. Practical Magic. I'm not going to read this book. How Freaking Romantic. Not going to read this book. The Talapoo. Want to read. Price of Time. Want to read. Why Nations Fail. Want to read. Anxious Generation. Would like to read it. History Is All You Left Me, would like to read. Call Me By Your Name. I would like to read this book because I'm never going to watch the movie. Because, guys, I have a thing where I do not like movies that are dubbed or, like, are captioned. I can't do it. So I would like to read the book, though, just to understand what all the hype is about. And then First to Die at the end. That's the end of our list. Okay. So now let's go back up to the top and see if this will, in fact, work the way that I would like it to work. Okay. So I have the book selected I want to remove. So if I push remove from all bookshelves, it should take it off everything, right? So let's click it. Let's see if it happens. Fingers crossed, folks. Let's see. This will completely remove the selected books from your shelves. Yes. It's loading. It's loading. It's doing its thing. Give it some time. Give it some time. Fingers crossed. Patiently waiting. Did it do it? I think it did. But it's still saying I have 160 books on this when I definitely don't. So I wonder... Maybe I should reload the page? Let's see. 118. Okay, there we go. Definitely worked. All right. Well, all right, folks. I think this is the end of this video. We purged the TBR going into 2025. Not 2025, 2026. I cannot get these years straight, folks. They're flying by too fast. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there are books that I took off that I need to read, let me know. You have recommendations of books I should read based on what you've seen here, also let me know. And if you read any of these aren't here and like I need to get to them soon, also let me know. So be sure to subscribe to this channel because I have a lot more content coming out soon. And we just did a tier list of all my 2025 reads, so I highly suggest you go and watch that. I just put together a brand new craft card for doing all of my book journaling with, so my book journaling video is going to be coming out very, very soon too for my 2026 book journal. What I've done with this is I've basically retrofit a book journal for 2025 and 2026 into the same thing. It's very complicated. You'll have to go and see the video to find out more about it. But if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below with the book emoji and let me know what you think of it. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please, leave me a like, give me a subscribe, share with friends. I appreciate all the help that you all can give me as I continue on my reading journey into 2026. But I'll see you all in the next one. See y'all. Bye.